Hey everybody, I'm Ted from Tebex. In this tutorial we are looking once again at the Arena plugin for Rust. Last week we already looked at this plugin, we done some basic event setup. If you're unfamiliar with the Arena plugin and you have not seen that tutorial, I would recommend watching that first. In this tutorial we are setting up a hub. We're going to use a build from the Fortify Steam community and we will use this as our hub or lobby. As you can see on screen, you can then create teleporters using the Arena plugin, allowing people to teleport directly to those events if they run into those triggers. We will also set up a GunGame event. The GunGame event is a little bit more tricky to set up than some of the other events. Combining last week's video with this video, you are hopefully able to set up any event from the Arena plugin that you want. Now, as you can see, we have quite the list of plugins. This is all the Arena plugins and everything you need. So this includes Zone Manager, spawn files, etc. I added copy and paste. And of course, we are still using the permissions manager from CodeFling. We will also use Fortify. This is a program on Steam or game on Steam. It is basically a clone of the Rust building system. So setup-wise, everything is exactly the same as last week, plus the copy and paste plugin. So what we can do, we can build something. So let's get a blueprint, a hammer, and let's get some resources. So I'll get some wood. Let's actually get a few K and some stone. There we go. So let's say this is your hub or your lobby. Let's copy this so that we can reuse it every wipe. So we're going to do /perms, open up the permissions manager, go into our admin group, and then for copy paste, make sure that we are allowed to do everything. Now I'm just going to look at the base that I want to copy. And I'm just going to say /copy and then the name. So in this case, hub1. Then I can just go anywhere I want and do /paste hub1. And this will paste the hub. There are a few things that you can add. First of all, we can do /undo, and this will undo the last thing we just pasted. Be careful though, if you undo a very big building, you might actually freeze or even worse, crash your server. As you can see, you have a few different options. For example, you can specify a height. You can specify if it has stability or not. So you could even build things in Fortify that even completely ignore the stability inside of the Rust base building system. So we could, for example, say paste hub1 height 10. And there we go. You can see that it is now pasted up higher. So let's do undo. Let's try height 2. Still probably way too high. But you get the gist. So let's go on to the Fortify community. So we have the Arena gun game that I want to use as a Arena gun game. I'm already logged into my Steam account. I'm just going to click subscribe. And this has now been added to my subscriptions. So if we now launch Fortify, inside of Fortify, we open up the menu. We go inside of the workshop and under subscribe, we just make sure we refresh the list. We have the Arena gun game and all the other things that we subscribe to. Let's click on download and it says downloading and it should be fairly quick, of course, depending on your internet. There are several tutorials on Fortify, including some on my own channel. So I will skip Fortify for now. We're just going to use it to export the file. So I'm going to save this. So let's go out of the workshop. Let's go to Rust copy and paste. And let's click that on the center-ish. Well, completely lost myself. Somewhere here-ish is the center. That's good enough. So we set the center. Then we give it a name. And I'm just going to say GunGame 1. And I'll click Save As. And then we can click here on this folder saying Open Folder. This will open up your Fortify saves folder. So you can see for me, this is quite the path. But here you can see the GunGame 1 JSON. And this is the file that we need. Since we already done a copy and paste, we should have a folder called copy and paste inside of our Oxide folder. If we go inside of Oxide and go inside of data, we have copy and paste. And inside of copy and paste, you can see we have hub1.json. So we can literally just drag this JSON file inside of that folder, and we should now be able to access it through the game. So let's remember the name, GunGame 1, and then in-game, we should be able to just paste it. So let's look for a little bit of a big place. So, decent, whatever. Let's just paste it here and see how big it is. So let's look at the floor. Let's do /paste GunGame 1. And let's see what happens. Well, as you can see, certain things broke over here. The middle is clearly not reachable because it's too high, and certain things are crumbling, as you saw earlier. So let's do this again. Let's do undo. Clearly even worse. So we need to, can we do minus? Let's see if we can do minus. It is a little bit of trial and error to find the right height. Let's do -1. Let's see. -1. Yeah, that's good. So now this seems to be at the perfect height, actually, where everything is accessible. And I think that if you are running here, you're just easily able to go up here. And the middle of the arena is actually able to be reached and used. So this looks perfect. Once you have your location, if you use the same map, you can use the paste back command once you got everything perfect location-wise. So let's do /menu. And let's take a look at the admin menu for the gun game. As you can see, we need a zone, we need a spawn file, we need a kit. This is all the same as last time, but the kit is a little bit special because we also need a weapon set, and we also need to set a downgrade weapon. This is a little bit more difficult than the more basic event that we done in the last video. So let's set this up, and once we have this set up and tested, let's then create one of those triggers for it so we can set it inside of our hub so people can look at the different kind of teleporters and just walk into the one that they want to play at that moment. So I'm going to say zone_add. Let's try 100, a 50, and 100 for the size. Let's take a look. That's actually fairly decent. Okay, that's good. I'm just going to leave the height as well. You could lower the height. This is fine. Then we open up the flags editor and we choose what kind of flags we want. I'm not going to go through all of them. As I said in the last video, go through this. Think about what event is running at this location or inside of this zone. And think about what makes sense to turn on and off as rules for this zone. So after we set the zone location, the zone size, and the zone flags, we are now able to do some spawn points. So we're going to say spawns new, and we're going to say spawns add. We're going to copy this, and I'm just going to fly around and add a few of these points. I added a few spawn points. Let's save this. So I'm going to say spawns, save, and then the name, so GunGame 1. So we have our zone, we have our spawns file. Now we need to create a kit. So for this, I'm going to throw everything out of my inventory like this. So I have only heals and clothing, no weapons or ammunition. This is going to be handled by the weapon set. So let's do kit and let's go create new. So I'm just going to give it a name, GunGame, so I know what is what. And also the description, it's the bunny suit. Make sure that it's hidden so people cannot claim it. And then let's copy from inventory and let's save this. Now we just need to create a weapon set. We can do /agg set, and this shows you the commands that we can use. You can also find this on the website. So we're going to say arena gun game or agg set new. You are now creating a new weapon set. If you're unfamiliar with gun game, you start with a gun. If you make a kill with that gun, you get your next gun. Whoever makes a kill with the final gun is the winner. There's also a D rank weapon. By default, this is a machete. If you get killed by a machete, you get sent back 1 tier. You're trying to make the kills with all the different types of guns as soon as possible. So we are going to make the list of guns that they have to go through. So we are now making that new set. We can then add different kinds of weapons. So I'm just going to throw this out and let's, for example, go into items, weapons, and let's start with a bow. So I'm going to hold the bow in my hand, make sure it's selected. So let's go to ammunition and get 100. Let's get a stack of arrows. And now if we do the same thing, we add it and we do add the arrows as well. So now we just throw this out. Let's, for example, take the next bow, for example, a compound bow, and let's add that as number 2. Then we, for example, change to the nail gun, make sure that we take the ammo as well. And this you just do as many times as you want. If you want to have 20 guns, do this 20 times, make sure you have the ammo. And then once you're done, we can save the list. So I'm going to say agg set save, and then the name, so GunGame 1. And now I think we have everything that we need. So let's open up the menu. Let's go into admin, create event. Let's go back and just make sure that we are inside of the GunGame event. And then let's start filling everything in and see if we run into any issues. So gave it a name, simple description. We then need to select our zone. We have two different zones since I don't remember which one is which. Let's go exit, and inside of our zone, I'm clearly inside it. Let's do zone underscore edit. And it tells me the zone number. So it's ending with 1, 1. So if I open up the menu again, go inside of create zone, we select the one that ends with 1, 1. Spawn file, GunGame, kits, kit GunGame, time limited in seconds. Let's do 300 again, so 5 minutes. There's only one round to play. Minimum players, let's do 1 since I want to be able to start it with just me joining. Since I only have a maximum of 4 spawn points, let's do maximum 4 players. Reward type, let's keep it as scrap. Let's put kill amount and headshot amount on 1. Win amount also on 1. For weapon set, let's select GunGame 1. And let's leave the downgrade weapon on machete. And then let's see if we can save this. Successfully saved event test. So then if we go to the events and go to GunGame, you can see that we have the event over here. We can view the event and we can also enter. As you can see, this is one of those spawn points that I added. And then hopefully in 2 seconds, you can see that the event will start. I should get my bunny suit, including the first weapon that we have and including the downgrade weapon that we have, and also the heals that we added to the bunny suit. So now that we have the event, let's actually add a teleporter. I'm just going to paste the hub one over here. And then all we need to do to create a teleporter is stand wherever we want the teleporter to be. So I'm going to say /teleporter at test GunGame. And it says you've successfully set up a teleporter. However, teleporters are required the lobby to be set up and enabled. So let's take a look at our config. Inside of Oxide, config, arena, there are some lobby options. We can create a lobby spawn file and a lobby zone ID. So let's do zone add and let's just keep the original zone size. This is fine. So let's just do 2, 3, 9, 6, 6, 8, 8, 9. Let's just copy this and paste that inside of our zone ID. And then let's create a lobby spawn file. So we do spawns new and we do spawns add a few times, for example, 2 times like this. And then we do spawns save lobby, or of course, whatever name you want to give it. And then I'm going to say lobby as the spawn name file. So I'm going to say force events access from a physical lobby. Let's also set this to true. Let's once again save and exit and then reload the arena plugin. Oh, there it is. If we get close enough, you can see that we get the information as well. Test game, GunGame, 0 out of 4 players, 1 round, status open, time limit, and also the kits is event specific. And if I walk in, I immediately get teleported to one of the 4 spawn points. Since the minimum players is set to 1, it will also automatically start. Let's leave. And you see we get teleported back to our lobby to one of our spawn files or spawn points. One thing I wanted to point out that if you are inside of an event and you go outside of the zone, you get automatically teleported back. If you are inside of the lobby, this is not the case. So people can just walk off and it will not teleport them back or tell them to go back or whatever. So if you are using a lobby or a hub, whatever you want to call it, make sure that you actually enclose the whole thing so people cannot leave. Hopefully this was helpful. If anything is unclear, of course, feel free to leave a comment down below. And as always, thank you for watching and good luck with your Tebex store.